Hey,
Hey.
it's getting ready to break down. Hey, okay, I'm over it.
Amen.
Welcome to the Walking Free podcast. I am Chris. I finally have my Rocky back.
Amen.
Everybody say, yay!
Just for a little bit. Just for a little bit.
We are live. Okay, that's a lot of clapping.
He's a Southerner now.
Yeah, we are live from Trinity United Methodist Church here in Huntington, and our special guest this evening is Daniel First.
So within 10 seconds, you've used the same sound effect twice already.
Do you
Same
want a
crowd,
different
Dan.
sound effect?
It's the same crowd, Dan.
Tell a joke.
Well, you don't have a laugh track on there, do you?
Tell a joke.
I'm not telling a joke.
He ain't got no
You
jokes.
got no jokes.
Okay.
That should have been the wah-wah then.
Yeah.
And we have all this fancy gear. So we're here. We're talking about early Christianity. Well, I'm like a baby Christian. We're talking about early recovery. And we just kind of like go with whatever. Dan, are you familiar with my friend Rocky?
I've seen him, I think, on like one ads and stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't know that we've
Like
met.
milk cartons and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And
do not talk to this person after
Yeah.
dark.
right.
Do
Dan,
not-
did you know that I was married?
I did.
You did?
I did one of your weddings.
You did one of my weddings.
Yeah.
That's
How's it-
fair.
How's it going?
It's going great. I mean,
So I'm like,
it's marriage, bro.
I'm batting about 500 on marriages lasting. All the funerals I've done have lasted.
That's
Got
a
it?
good
Damn.
day.
There it is.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Amen.
So what do you guys want to talk about? Rocky,
know, it's
I
like-
bet you got something.
Yeah, I don't know what Dan like. If you want to take a second to like tell people like, what do you do? Yeah, what do you do?
Well, I'm a pastor of Markle Riverside 316 Church. I've been there for just over 2 years. It's God really brought us to that thing unexpectedly. When we moved over here from Illinois, we were trying to find a house in Huntington where our church was at the time, where my business was at the time, and we couldn't find a house big enough for us. And so we had to go to Markle just out of necessity because we had 7 kids. We needed a bunch of room. We couldn't find anything in Huntington. And we were kind of frustrated, we were kind of upset. It's like, man, we just want to be in the community we're going to minister in. We want to be in the community we're working in. And about 3 years later, that's what happened. We ended up being in the community we were ministering in, and about a block away from the church we wound up in. So
Awesome.
God did have a plan for us to be in Markle, and we didn't see it at the time, and we were kind of whiny about it at the time. But looking back, it's easy to to see God's hand on it. But when you're not getting your way at the time, we can be crybabies about things, and that's what I kind of did. Is just I'm like, why can't I just have the house I want, and the city I want, the place I want, and
Yeah.
That wasn't his plan though.
it wasn't. So
No.
now we know we're right where God wanted us, and
Amen.
it's
Amen.
great.
I love it. Yeah, I argue with God a lot. When he told me, marry her and I'll make a way, I was like, bro, no.
So, like, how did you get involved in recovery?
Well, I've always been recovered, so that part was pretty easy for me. Bam. But you know what? I've always had sympathy for people who are struggling. And, I grew up being kind of a cruel-hearted person. That's something I think God just changed about me. And I would feel pity for people who, even if they were in a mess that they made completely themselves, I always still felt like we should sympathize with them and have empathy for them, because they probably never thought the decisions they were making were going to lead them into the hole that they were in. And that could have been me. That could have been somebody I loved, or it could have been my kids. And fortunately, it was never my situation. So, but we've always had had just a compassion for people who were struggling in every kind of way. And so the way I got around here, Indiana just has, this area anyway, has a a great network of churches that are working with people who are coming out of addiction, coming out of homelessness, coming out of abusive relationships, coming out of jail. The churches around here do a great job. So it was really easy to find people immediately that had that heart, and to immediately be able to jump in and start working with all kinds of people. And so, Brandy, my wife, was able to find some women's homes to volunteer at immediately, and I'd go help do some Bible studies at places like, I was doing, like we first got over here, I was doing a weekly Bible study at the Harmony Home for a while on Thursday nights, and I've always just been able, there's always something over here that churches are doing that you can join in with and cooperate with, so it was just easy to jump in over here.
Heard you just did some baptisms in JCAP in Wabash County Jail.
Yeah, that's really one of the highlights of my whole life. We did the first 6 baptisms in Wabash County Jail history. And the first 2 guys that wanted to do it, this shocked me, because they were in the first JCAP class that we did. And they didn't say a word for the entire time I was there. Every time we had a service there or anything, they just sat there kind of like tree stumps. And so, but clearly God was working something in their hearts and minds behind the scenes.
Amen.
And then after they became mentors for this new class, they were the first, a couple weeks ago, to just profess faith in Jesus and talk about how he was changing their minds, changing their hearts, changing their lives, even inside jail. I bet nobody thinks they're going to go to jail and find Jesus. That's probably the last person you want to look for him, you know? But yeah, they were the ones that came out and just started professing for the other guys. I didn't go into this JCAT program thinking about God, and this is where I'm at now, though, and this is what I believe now, and this is what God's doing in me. And so it was really kind of funny the way that the baptism thing happened. I didn't know if the baptisms would be allowed, and so I was planning on just sneaking like a bottled water baptism into the cell block.
Yeah.
Right. And so I told them I would do that. We would just have the baptism inside the cell block and not make a stink about it. And so then I got an email, I think from Melissa, said, hey, the chief said the baptisms are off for tomorrow. I was like, uh-oh, something bad's happened. So we're probably in trouble. And then I got another email like the next day saying, so what they're going to do is they're going to have a public baptism Sunday, and they went out and bought a horse trough so everybody can actually get really baptized instead of just the water. And so
That's awesome.
So instead of me sneaking around doing a Dasani water baptism, they went out and bought a horse trough and let us actually have real baptisms, and 4 other guys got baptized that day too.
Amen.
And just and they've opened up this week. They're talking more freely and openly, because they've just, for the first couple weeks, they were pretty quiet and almost, you'd think they're disinterested. But again, you just don't know what God's doing in people's hearts when you give them the word. The Bible says that the word doesn't return void. Mm-hmm. And so the word is doing its work, even if we don't see it. If we're discouraged and we're thinking, man, they're not getting anything that we're saying, it doesn't matter to them at all. God can be digging out these secret parts in their hearts and doing all kinds of things that we don't even imagine. And then they just, God gives a new birth. God doesn't need our permission and our cooperation to do those things.
Good thing.
But yeah, so we're talking about the word with them, and the word's just doing its magic, man. That was it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard to like, especially early on like that, being on that receiving side and like trying to understand. I always felt like a kindergartner in a 12th grade math class, man. I don't even know when, I knew when I was ready for it, but I don't know when it actually started to happen. I don't really know when it actually started, it started to root. I don't know when the seeds started to grow. I don't know, there's just a started point where there was a point where I started to understand a little bit, I still just barely understand a little bit, but I started to understand enough to know better, And, that's kind of like when I was doing that, and I was doing that with Chris. He set me up. Man, it was supposed to be me and him doing this Bible study. I'm like, dude, we're going to do a Bible study. like a legit Bible study, but we were a couple third graders. You could take a third grader back to kindergarten and have them read a book for him. You know what I mean? You could. So that's really what we was doing. That's why I kind of like, I called out you and I wanted you to go with us. Plus you do the music. I thought the guys would like that and everything, but you know,
They do.
and then look what happened. My job, I had to leave and I had to go do my job. So that was like, that's kind of like a God thing too. You know what I mean? That was a
for
divine
sure.
appointment for sure. Divine assignment.
Well, when we first got going, the first thing you did is you got some copies of my book for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple weeks later, you said, why don't you come in and go through a chapter or something with us?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then, yeah, I loved the guys and I wanted to go back. And when I even wrote the book, I mean, that was sort of my dream, that it would be hitting guys like that and girls that were just, that didn't have a clue about God's will for their life, that had just been floundering around and would be willing to say, I need to try something totally different. Because
Yeah.
all the decisions I've made my whole life have been a train wreck, and they've brought me nothing but curses and death and chaos and drama, and I'm ready to do something new. And man, when you get some guys that are in a cell block,
Yeah.
they know that their decisions have been a mess.
Right.
And they're ready to hear, like, is there a different way that I can try some things? And so, you know, you get to go in there and talk about some of the wisdom passages from the Bible and decision making and God's will for them, and tell them, like, do you think this was God's will for you, that you wound up as a drug dealer and that you wound up in jail and missing your family and not raising your kids? Do you think that was God's good will for you? And they all, obviously they're saying, no, this wasn't what I was meant to do. And then you can open and say, well, what do you think you were meant to do? What's the baseline for any person? And then we get talking about, you know, Solomon, where he says in Ecclesiastes that the whole purpose of man is to serve and obey God. And that applies to everybody,
Yeah.
from kings down to nobodies. Every single person. The reason they were made was to serve and obey God. And that includes guys in jail. And sometimes, you know, I think that's what breaks open a little bit of that crusty soil on top and digs down, and they can start seeing that, man, maybe I was meant for something besides just being a criminal.
Right.
Maybe I can be more than an addict. Maybe I wasn't designed to do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's dude, I can barely remember the times though, like when I really just didn't care. I mean, I was just talking about this earlier. It's like today, like I know that there is Christ in me, and I know that there's been changes made because I actually care about things over there. And we was talking about like, you know, Dan always gets on me for my mouth. He busts me down on Facebook all
Yeah,
the
he
time about
does.
my mouth. That's why.
Yeah,
But
he
you
does.
know, like drug addiction and those aspects of walking with Jesus, walking with Christ, don't even affect me today. Like being a man, like today, my struggle is more with lust than anything.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, you know, I've just went through a bad breakup in a relationship. You know, what I mean, I went through a really hard phase, like dealing with rejection and things, and you know, it's been since August, and I've been trying to be abstinent, and because I don't want to like, I have a desire. You know what I mean? I have a sexual desire in me, like, you know what I mean? I think all people do, but you know, I don't want to. I don't want to put somebody through what I just went through because I'm not sure if I myself am ready for that. You know what I mean? So I started to indulge in some pornography, you know what I mean, in my private little time. And you know, it's a terrible place to be in, to like feel conviction for doing what you're doing, but you like, you know, your flesh is fighting your spirit. It's telling you like your mind, and there's a desire and burning desire in you for like for sexual, you know, desire just to fulfill that some way. But then like the spirit and like everything in me, the Jesus in me is like, Rocky, don't, you know what I mean, to have to go against that, you know what I mean, like and try to like, you know, put that out. And like it come to the point like Chris, I had to go to Chris, and like, you know, Chris was my best friend, you know, I could tell him anything, I tell him everything, you know what I mean. So I was like, bro, you need to help me, you know, like you need to put a block on my phone. Like that was a hard thing for me to do, but I'm comfortable with him, and I'll tell him anything. I'm like, dude, you need to put a block on my phone, you know, and because if you go, like, I would go to the YMCA here in Huntington, and I see all them kids, college kids from the YMCA. A lot of them have flip phones, and I know why. They don't have the traps of social media on their phone. They don't have the
Right.
traps of pornography on their phone. They don't like they're like trying they're disciplining themselves. They're cutting they're cutting that pathway out of their life. You know what I mean? So, that's what I really struggle with. What people see from the outside that I struggle with, they're very like they see like very little of what my spirit is actually battling. You know what I mean? But like the tough things are the things that's unseen. You know, like the things that like I'm fighting the hardest in as a young Christian are things that are unseen, things that are not socially acceptable. There's things that we don't really talk about. You know, what I mean, is my mind occupied by, you know, what I mean, like saying cuss words once in a while, or you know what I mean? I know it's not right. I know it's not bad, but like I have a lot of things that I'm going through, like I'm dealing with that I know, like for sure, like that I shouldn't be doing. And we talked about like, you know, these things as a Christian that we go through, you know what I mean? Like these sinful things that we do, and we know that like we shouldn't be doing, and then we do them anyways because we have this desire. And, you know, sometimes like I can keep from cussing and I care, but sometimes I don't. I don't know why. It's not that big of a deal to me. You know what I mean? But like I had the pornography, like the lust thing. I had to deal with that because I had experienced a whole lot of conviction over that, and I felt weak because of it. I'm like, I can't beat this. I gave up drugs. I gave up all these toxic relationships. I gave up. You know what I mean? I learned to love myself. I've done all these things. I gave up cigarettes. I gave up this, but I can't beat this. You know what I mean? But it's very hard to discipline yourself to like get through that. And you know, I sometimes like and this is why I like try to how people be more vulnerable, because you just never know what the demons like people are battling inside. You never
Facts.
know. You don't.
Yeah.
Like what we see on the surface, you know, we could pick it apart while they're doing this or doing this, but you know, internally, as Christians, I think as Christians, like as young Christians, we should all be struggling with something, because we're like I've had to switch gears in every aspect of my life. I am working on every single aspect of my life. I was a drug addict, chaotic idiot, fool. I'm still a little foolish for, you know, 43 years of my life. I was a drug addict for 25 years of my life. I did everything the wrong way for all my life. I was disciplined in doing the wrong thing. I have a PhD in what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't fight like bad habits anymore as much as I fight impulses. You know what I mean? I can't surrender the fact that I have I can't surrender the fact that I get triggered. I have a fascination. If I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see some boobs, you know, like, and I get that trigger. I cannot control the fact that I feel that at that point in time. The only thing I can control is what I go. I don't feed into it. I can't control the fact that when somebody does something to me, I get angry, or I get like resentful. I can't control that I actually feel that way immediately. But what I can control is like if I don't retaliate. What I can control is if I like alleviate that person out of my life and don't allow them to do this to me anymore. Those are the only things I control. The things I have to surrender to God is the things that I can't control. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, you know, God, like, help me through this. And I really don't ask God pretty much to do anything for me. I'm like, just show me, you know what I mean? Like, show me the way out. You know what I mean? Like, show me, you know,
Yeah.
show me. I think, those are the things that I pray about. Those are the things that I work hard to pray about. And like, I'm really fighting, you know, the drugs and things like that don't really bother me anymore. It's just, I'm too preoccupied with much bigger things, you know. And I think as early Christians, I think everybody's doing something. Everybody, you know, and I didn't even, most of my walk now, like 4 years, this didn't even come to me it came to me within the last 6 months. You know what I mean? I've been on this walk for years, and like this did not start working on me for the last 6 months. Like I started fighting this battle 6 months ago, you know. And I think it's like, I was a meth addict. You know what I mean? Me and the girls I was with used to sit around and watch pornography together. It was not taboo. It's something we did. Chris is like, Well, I just never did the porn. I'm like, well, how do you do it? Yeah,
I just never got into it, bro.
You know what I mean?
It's
Well,
weird.
me and the girls I dated would sit around and watch it together. It was not taboo. It wasn't something bad. But then, like, all of a sudden, you know, you start this new life. Now, everything that you've done in the past. When I used to run around with bikers, I've been to the boogie several times. You know what I mean? I'm used to walking around. I'm used to hanging out in strip clubs. That's what I did. I lived a wild life like that. And that's the, you know, and everything, my whole life has changed and evolved into now. It's like, I have to like discipline my life in every aspect of my life. You know, it's hard to deal with them impulses, you know what I mean? And you know, honestly, like I cannot believe like how much easier it has gotten by just taking that one thing out of taking that path. You take that pathway out of your life. You take that one step to take that pathway out. You know what I mean? I trusted in my friend and I confessed to my friend and I went to him and I'm like, help me. And you know how much that has helped. Like, you know, it's when you sit around, like we sit around, like I was sitting around talking about like the things that other people were doing, but I had this in the back of my mind, what I was doing, you know? And I think everybody, I'm pretty sure, like I'm like, I say the pastor's the biggest hypocrite in the church. I might be wrong, but you know what I mean? Like you got
Some can be. I believe it's some.
But I'm just
can
saying,
be.
but you know, everyone struggles. Everyone has some type of sin in their life. That's period. You know what I mean? Am I wrong?
Well, I would say that if you're not struggling with like an addiction to drugs or alcohol, if you're a man, lust is probably your number one struggle. That's just, you know, that's the way we're designed. We pick up on the female form, and it instantly changes. I did a sermon last year, and I was talking about Joseph when Joseph was proposed by his master's wife, and
Yeah.
you know it takes less than a second. Like if when a man sees a naked or near naked or some kind of sexualized
David.
girl, it's less than 1 second, and your whole brain chemistry changes.
Mhm.
And
David.
so, Paul said that's why we have to flee from lust, because we're not going to defeat it. If we walk around in it, we're not going to defeat it. It's going to defeat us. And you know, yeah, the pastor's struggling with lust. I'm a pastor, and that's always been my number one sin struggle. And fortunately, like I've been married for 30 years too, though. And so, but it didn't make it go away. But at least I've got an outlet for those feelings. And so I don't know what single guys do. I don't know how you discipline yourself to not just, go out and find somebody. Because that would be the hardest thing for me if there's no outlet for the things that you're thinking, and we're bombarded. Where I mean, every place you put your eyes in our society, there's something trying to tempt you sexually,
Mm-hmm.
and even in the churches, this is something you probably get busted for. We talked about, but like, our women aren't always dressing the most modestly in churches. Every time you see them take a picture, they're posed in some sort of meant to be, look how cute I am, provocative pose. You never see a girl on Facebook just smiling, right? They're always posing. They're always cocking their hip. They're always puffing out their lips. They won't just take a picture like a guy will.
Man.
I mean, so like, it'd be good for our sisters if they would try to help us out a little bit by not advertising, and like I said, I'm sure if you had callers, you'd probably be getting calls right now about how backwards we are.
No, I'm just getting text messages.
but,
No, I'm just joking.
But I mean, Christian men and women, we need to be helping each other out with these kind of things.
Mhm.
And I appreciate my wife's commitment to modesty so much. She's very beautiful. She was a model. She used to do beauty pageants, stuff like that. But she never advertises that. She leads with her faith. She leads with her mind, her kindness, and that's what she focuses on. But there are a lot of people. It just seems like girls in general in our society, even when they say, "Well, I want to be respected by men," they don't act like they want to be respected by men. They act like they want to be sexualized by men. So that's why they post the pictures they do and say the things that they do, I think. And we need to help each other out. Girls, because most men do struggle with lust, a Christian girl ought to think about that and say, I'm not going to do anything to add to my brother's struggle. Just like if I had an alcoholic person, if I had somebody struggling with alcohol, I wouldn't bring them to my house and say, I'm going to show them my liberty by drinking in front of them and tempting them and making them feel bad. Well, I mean, that's kind of the way that a man is when he's struggling with lust. Our sisters ought to be doing everything possible to say, I'm not going to add to this temptation. I'm going to help. I'm going to help my Christian brother stay pure in his mind. I'm not going to do anything to cause that lust to spring up by the way I'm posing or dressing or talking or joking or flirting or hugging or anything like that. That'll be careful about that.
Could the same thing be said about a man taking gym pictures?
For certain. Hey, listen, I was getting ready to say that. You know what I mean? I used to take all these pictures with my shirt off and stuff. And then like when I went down to Alabama, I'm on TikTok and I'm posting these thirst traps and stuff like that. I experienced some convictions over this.
I generally don't think that women, not that they can't lust, but I don't think it's usually their number one sin struggle.
Bro, I got like 800 likes and like 14,000 views off of a thirst trap.
Okay, but you got to think that's 800 likes out of
Women.
8 billion people, though. So that's not that much, Rocky.
Did you feel validated by those 800 likes?
I turned around and I felt conviction over doing it, but then I said,
well, but just what you said right there, though. If a girl does that at the gym, she gets 18,000 likes.
Yeah, for certain, for real.
So it does seem to be different
for real
for girls and guys. And Jesus, when he points out his teachings about lust, he directs it at men. He tells men, if you look on a woman with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. And so I think he directs that at men because that's the number one struggle for men.
Yeah.
I think it's not an accident when Paul talks to women, he's like, don't be gossiping. Because I think women's temptation, because they're more relational, they're more conversational, they're more open with their own stuff. So maybe they're going to be more open with other people's information too. Where, I mean, I think guys struggle less with gossip because we don't even share our own stuff, let alone other people's stuff. So I think that the Bible directs some commands specifically at men and women because we struggle with different things. Like I said, I know women, I'm sure women can lust. I'm sure men can gossip. We've done that. But I think there's a definite difference between the way a man struggles with lust and the way a woman struggles with lust.
Yeah. So much people are always quick to the whole gossip thing though. This I have an opinion upon what I was consider gossip and what I'm not. Like if somebody runs foul on me and does something to me that's hurtful or painful or does something to me, that's my business to tell. I have every right to go tell whoever I want to that they did this to me. Now, if Chris had said something to me about, he said he heard such and such did something, and I went around and was telling people, I hear such and such did this, and I'm not passing around a lot of information that I don't know to be true. I'm just passing around information to be information. I think that's kind of like, that's not my business to tell. I think that's kind of like gossiping. But if you went to Walmart and you bought 5 fishing poles and all 5 of them were bad fishing poles, you don't go buy a fishing pole at Walmart. They're all junk. A bunch of junk fishing poles over there. You wouldn't be gossiping about Walmart. You'd be making sure your friends didn't go to Walmart.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
And that is different because the word gossip in the Bible is actually related to the word whisper. And so when you're whispering about something, you don't want everybody to know you're talking about it. So you're not warning. You're purposefully trying to keep it quiet that you're talking about this person. That's another area that, just like you with your phone, you're watching what your struggle is. Brandy's just got a great way of dealing with gossip and shutting it down. If somebody starts talking to her and she starts thinking that this is going to turn into gossip, she will stop the person and she'll say, did the person you're talking about give you permission to tell me this story?
That's good.
And if they say no, then they say, well, then I'm not supposed to have this information. We should talk about something else. And it shuts off that conversation. And, it's not like, and she's super extroverted. She loves talking to people and having stories and things like that. But she's really great at shutting down gossip. She don't have it. So
that's just the whole back to the whole pornography thing, and like I feel like there's just things that as in us that we cannot. I know personally, I'll speak from my point of view, is like I know there's like I feel like there's these things I can put these walls up, I can put boundaries up, and I can do these things to make obstacles and put these things in my way to keep me or prevent me from following through with these things. But that's not stopping. That didn't stop that inside of me. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't stop that inside of me. We can go as far, and we talked earlier about like being with a woman and having premarital sex, but then you get married.
I did that.
I'm just saying, yeah. But then you get married, but then you all of a sudden you start judging now that you're married and you don't have premarital sex no more, but now you start judging people for having premarital sex. You know what I mean? Or if I was to come back and I start judging people for watching pornography, what does that make me? That takes me back to the scripture where Jesus was talking about like, you will be judged by the same which you judge others. Like, is that going to mean that like now, but since I've repented from my sin and I've been forgiven from my sin, and I repented from my sin, now that I go up, and when I get up there, is he going to be like, now we got something we need to talk about?
Well, I mean, why isn't that just because you've struggled with something and failed at something? Don't you need to still warn other people this isn't still the right way to do? I mean, like my first baby was conceived outside of marriage, but that doesn't mean I get to go around and just say, well, since I did it, I can't say anything about them, because it was outside of God's will. It brought problems and chaos into my life. It wasn't the best thing for my family, for my future family. It wasn't the best thing for my son to be born that way. So I mean, it's because I've experienced it. By my experiencing and doing it wrong gives me a lot of reason to tell people this isn't the best way to do things.
Yeah.
God's way is the best way to do things. So you need to do it like God lined it up.
Yeah.
And so I think even areas we've failed at or are failing at, we still need to be able to say, this still isn't God's will. I've messed this up myself, but you're also doing it. You're going outside of God's will, and it's going to bring bad things into your life, and it's going to make you feel separated from God, and it's going to, curtail maybe some blessings that God has for you when you just indulge yourself in the sins that you're struggling with instead of fighting against them.
Yeah.
And
I guess that would be kind of like, coming to your brother with like love, and like they're keeping their best interest in heart rather than like judging them and being like, like you shouldn't be doing this, or you're wrong. You're sick. God's hates you, or you're going to hell for this kind of thing.
right. Yeah. I mean, I think we need to not act like our sin doesn't stink
Yeah.
and act like theirs does. But we're supposed to be watchmen for one another.
Yeah.
We're called to warn each other and to help call each other back on the straight path when one of us are going to the right or to the left. It's up to us to gently restore each other. I was thinking, like, I hear all these people talking about, like, well, Jesus went around kicking over tables and braiding whips, and I'm like, well, if Jesus wants to kick over a table, that's fine with him. But like, as for me, what I read is that I'm supposed to, if I see somebody in sin, I'm supposed to restore them with the spirit of gentleness. I don't need to kick over their tables. I don't need to braid a whip. I'm supposed to be gentle about it because I'm in that same situation.
Yeah.
I'm in that same sin struggle.
Yeah.
And so, we're still supposed to warn each other. And sometimes that's part of confessing too, is we can say, listen, I struggle with that same thing, but it's still not good when we do it. It's still not God's will for us to do it. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean you should do it, or because I've failed at it doesn't mean I'm not going to say something to you about what you're struggling with.
Last week, I think it was, I'm in Alabama and I'm on Facebook, and I seen like somebody had said something on Facebook, and then like I seen Dan laughed at it. So I text Dan. I'm like, well, why are you saying something to him? Was this not right? And then he Dan, he uses these big texts and, he's all this important stuff. And I understood it. I understood what he was saying like a little bit, and I'm like, well, you know what, Dan, that's a lot of big words there. I understand. He said, no, I think you really. He said, no, I think you understand totally what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But it ended up good. But that's what I love about it.
He knew, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he's
He
like,
knew, didn't he, Dan?
I was like,
trying,
you know,
trying to escape.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was trying. That's a lot of big words there. He's like, no, I think you knew exactly what I was saying. That's how. But that's kind of, you know, that's how I receive love, and that's how I receive like the best kind of things from people, and that's how I give it to people. But that kind of stuff is not always received in the best way from a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like Rob, I would go. I see him like coddle all these people all the time. Certain people, I'm like, dude, I was in there talking to him. I'm like, dude, like, why don't you ever treat me that way? He's like, well, you know what? Maybe you don't need it that way. He's like, you wouldn't be where you was today if I did that, treated you that way. I'm like, well, you know what? Even I need coddled once in a while. I said, get out of my office.
And it works.
Yeah, it does. It
Now
works.
you're not
but
in the home. Now you got a job and doing your
yeah,
thing.
I'm living better than, you know what I mean? Living better than I ever could have imagined. You know, I live better than I deserve to every single day. You know what I mean? Every day.
Look at your got that mustache now.
Oh, my
And
God.
that
his-
mustache is
got
serious.
his
Break that comb out, bud.
switchblade comb.
There we go.
Going,
Mustachio, buddy.
Look, hey, that's serious.
It's going to be no time flat. I'm going to be doing a wedding for you too. I hooked up Chris. Chris has got a
Yeah.
great life now.
Yeah.
You got your mustache. Girls
You
going
know
to be
what I mean?
calling in, be like, I'm ready to go.
But
I'm ready for marriage.
Let's talk about that. You know what I mean? I want a wife. You know what I mean? I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want to go through. I'm getting tired of meeting family members that I don't like. You know what I mean? I'm just wanting. I'm going to meet somebody, and I'm going to get used to the brother that I don't really get along with. I just want to get used to people that I'm really not going to care for and stuff. I get tired of reintroducing myself into families. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want to find like a woman who's committed to like putting up with me in the times that I'm not doing my best, because that's what I do. I do that. You know, sometimes a lot of times I stick around longer than I should just because like I'm committed. I mean, that's just in me that way. You know what I mean? I put up with a lot of stuff. Then, you know what I mean? Like I put up with a lot of stuff trying to make it work. And it's like all of a sudden, you know, it's like, well, you know, you did this. You did this. Well, I didn't like the way you did this. You didn't. I didn't like the way you made me feel this way like 9 times last week, but I didn't hold it against you. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of times women get like that. They're more attached to the emotion of it than they are like the honor and respect and the commitment part of it. Like, you know, you're not going to like me all the time. And I know like I'm not going to like you all the time. I'm not going to share the same opinion with you all the time. But you know what? Like when you need me, I'm going to be there regardless. You know what I mean? When you know, my mom, like she didn't necessarily like one of these girls I was with. I'm like, Mom, well, you know, that's my old lady. You know what I mean? Like, just keep that to yourself. You know what I mean? Like if she's disrespectful to you or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know why you put up with that. Well, you know what? That's my business. Like you mind yours. You know what I mean? I love you. You're my mom, but that's me and her. You know what I mean? Don't get involved in that. But you know, that's just the way I am. You know, and if I have a problem with someone I'm with, I'm going to do everything I can to talk to them about it. And a lot of times, a lot of women I'm with, like they'll close off, but they'll go and talk to 50 other people about what we're going through, because I think a lot of times when people don't get the reaction out of you that they want, they'll keep going to some person until they find somebody that's going to share their reaction to me. And a lot of times that's when infidelity comes in, because, you know, a woman, like if me and my girlfriend don't see eye to eye on something and she's really looking for affirmation, or like if she's looking for somebody to sympathize with her, she's going to keep going. Like maybe her friends will be like, no, but then she's going to find a guy sooner or later that's going to tell her exactly what he wants her to hear, just so he, you know, like he's a squirrel, you know, and that happens a lot. That's happened to me. And like that's happened to me since I gave my life to Christ and I met a Christian girl, you know. You know, I'm just saying, like, these things happen.
It's got to be the hardest thing to try to find a reasonable mate, like at our age when you're single. I mean, like I said, I've been married since I was 21. I've had more than half my life. I've had the same girl. We've been stable and both being committed to get closer to God and closer to Heather and make our marriage better. And if you don't have a person like that with you, I don't know what you do. If you got a person that's, you know, you can both be believers and still be unequally yoked. You can still be pulling two different directions, and that's going to be a miserable existence. So it's, I don't know what I would do if I was single at this age. I'd probably be looking for like some kind of mail order bride, and just like,
I'd run and
I'd
get
be
married.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd look at
That's
it.
what I did.
I'd look for like the Christian mail order bride site, and just like, yeah, you can get citizenship. Just come over here.
That wasn't
Got
a
you.
joke. That's legit. Hey.
Oh,
No, but it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to try to stay in alignment with God and what God wants, and then like deal with that. You know what I mean? Like to deal with that. Like I don't want to, and then to like meet somebody and to like, what I mean? I can stay abstinent now because I'm not with somebody, but if I'm with somebody and I'm sharing relationship with somebody, to say that I'm going to not have sex until we get married, I'd be lying to you if I told you that that's not going to happen. Because at that point, I feel like it's not only me, but that my thoughts I have to consider, but I have to consider theirs too. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I don't think it's healthy for you to go into the relationship saying, "Well, there's no way I can avoid this," just like any other sin.
you're right. You're right. Dan, you're right.
Go in there.
Man, I
But
know.
I'm also, like, I'm all for fast marriages. If you're believers, like seriously,
Good thing.
I don't think that you need to. I think it's a terrible idea to say, well, okay, I'm going to get engaged now. We'll get married 4 years from now, and we'll just try to stay, faithful to God's word for that long, and be doing everything else like almost like we're married, and then expect to not do that part like you're married is really pretty unreasonable and unattainable. So, Paul said, it's better to get married than burn.
Yeah.
Burn with desire. So if you got those uncontrollable desires, I'm guessing the girl does too, get married. Do it God's way. It's better to align that with God's will and work some of those other details out. And there's no prohibition against getting married to somebody you've dated for 3 weeks. There is a prohibition against dating somebody for 3 years and fornicating with them, if you're wanting to live in God's will. So,
well, I did both. I got married really fast, and I'm just gonna keep it real. That was because she was feeling some type of way because of some things we were doing. And I was standing on the beach, man. I can't marry this chick. She's got 6 kids. Well, 5 kids. I don't
Watch what you say now.
No, I'm good. I don't. What am I gonna? I don't know. And then I heard God's voice very distinctly say, "Marry her, and I'll make a way." And that's when we went and got married the
And I'm
first
going to
time.
have Dan first to marry you.
That was the second time.
That was the second
that was the
time.
redo.
Yeah, she wanted a big
Man,
fancy.
actually, I think that was a great idea too. And I've told other people like that if you're struggling waiting, get married now. Don't have a ceremony down the road. Have all your friends come down the road when you can. If you want to make a big plan, get married now. Get in God's will,
Yeah,
and then have a ceremony later. The ceremony is a one-day thing. It doesn't matter as much as the marriage anyway.
bro, I got so blessed with my son. Like, I think that all
I'm
came
tired of
because
you talking about Topher because I really want to see him and you keep denying him.
I think that came from being right. I
Yeah.
think that's like a huge blessing just for being right.
Yeah.
Just for doing what God told me to do. And I've been practicing the obedience thing. I listen. I'm obedient and I'm consistent. I'm consistently obedient.
Do you call him Topher?
Yes.
Oh, I call him Luda.
Yeah.
That's ludicrous.
Ludicrous. He does.
Ludicrous.
You watch him a lot.
Hey, look.
He don't even watch him. He'll like, hey, can we get the kids? And Topher and Sophie just be over at Dan's house. I was like, where's the kids? Oh, Dan and Brandy came and got them.
Yeah, we have a blast with them.
Yeah.
Man, and I don't know what it is. It was a weird thing. It's a God thing. I felt attached to him while he was still brewing in Mama's belly. I seriously just I felt it so attached to him and invested in him. And I don't know, man. It was just something special about him to me.
Yeah.
He's going to play
Must be that
guitar.
big. Must be how big old head of his or something.
Probably. 99 percentile, but
he wears a hat bigger than I do.
yeah.
Already.
We already had
Why'd
to-
everybody
we
look
had
at
to get
me
him
when we
a new
start talking
car
about
seat.
big heads?
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
We had to get him a new car seat because the other one just got too small.
Just get one for his head, one for his body.
Yeah.
That's it. I got you. I'm a little slow. You have to forgive me.
No, we have a great time when both of them come over. We love it.
They talk about some jungle gym, or not they, because well, he can't talk. But Sophie definitely talks about some jungle gym thing.
So my wife bought an outdoor. It's almost like a little miniature American Ninja course.
Oh,
Wow.
And she had it installed in my basement. So
I
came
seen
home with
that.
some
I
guys
seen
drilled
that.
holes in my walls, and then there's swings and like a rope climb and all kinds of stuff
for the
and-
kids.
So she's really over there doing jungle gym
Yeah,
stuff,
she
like for
is.
real.
Yeah, she's tough too because she's fallen off it twice. So I'm like, don't tell your mom and dad. You're fine.
Oh, she told, but no, I'm just joking.
Like, put your eyeball back in your head. You're okay.
It's gonna be fine. She, it's just like when I was first dating Chelsea, man, I was like, I don't like kids, like flat out. I love them because that's what I have to do, but I don't like them. I just don't like all the, But like, bro, man, I can't. I'm gonna just say it. I think I like my kids. You know what I mean? Like, I think I do. Don't tell my wife. You will. Dan's definitely going to tell her. I can tell.
Dude, this is live. You told her.
Well,
She probably don't watch him though.
Yeah, she does.
she's
probably already commented 52 times.
I don't know.
Normally she
I'm
does.
making it a point to not fiddle with stuff while I'm doing it because sometimes somebody else comments something's
Donovan
wrong.
always says, "Hey guys," and we never reply to him. Every episode, Donovan's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Donovan Lamb, and we never respond to him. So let's say, "Hey,
is he
Donovan.
on there right now?
I don't know. I can't see.
He said he is.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
see.
He said, "When can I come on the show? When do you want to come on the show? Let's talk about it." We got comments. Hi, John.
What up, Johnny?
Andrea said, "I respect myself, so therefore I don't dress in a risky way. Also, I'm married, but over everything, I just respect myself."
Well,
Hey, guys.
our wives didn't comment though, did they?
Nah. My wife will comment when I get home.
Yeah.
Right, comment about your daughter getting hurt on our jungle gym.
Yeah. You're hit, Dan.
She's probably
That's on you, bro. That ain't on me.
Dude, Sophie's crazy. She's like
She's
a
wild.
wrecking ball. She's
She's
like the
wild.
little Tasmanian devil. You
She's
ain't gonna hurt
probably
her.
spinning around in a circle in the
Yeah.
living room
right now
with a coloring book in one hand,
makeup in the other.
makeup all over her face, and bro, my wife posted a picture the other day. That little girl had the curls in her hair, and I said, "I need to know the name of the dad of every boy in your class because I can't beat up little kids,
Yeah.
right?" And then I got told to just be cool.
Yeah, be cool, bro. It is Valentine's Day.
My ex-wife, I held a little baby today. My ex-wife had a baby at
Except
6:22
your big
this morning.
dinosaur baby.
It's a little one. Well, 8 pounds something. I mean, I guess he wasn't little, but she just, like I went there and I was like, "Oh, come here." I wasn't even scared. Like I remember I used to be scared to pick up babies, right? It was cool.
I seen Ari had the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah. I thought you was telling me my daughter had a kid, and I'm like,
No,
when?
I remember I called her Topher's aunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met Ari. I was getting on her. Dude, all them energy drinks were yours.
No, not all of them. She collects the cans so she can save them. Maybe about 25, 30% of them are mine.
I go to Chris and I tell Chris, and I'm honest with him all the time, and I tell him like my deepest secrets. But he told me he quit drinking energy drinks, and I seen Ari posted this thing. On
Them are just
Facebook.
old cans.
Well,
bro.
you're lying.
No, I'm not.
I just bought you one today.
That was a sugar-free Red Bull.
It doesn't matter. It's still an energy drink.
Well, I didn't say I quit. I quit drinking the C4s and I quit drinking sugar.
If you lie to me about little, you're going to lie to me about a lot, bud. You know what I mean? Where's
I
this
don't
relationship
lie.
going?
I don't lie.
That is definitely a lie.
Half truth is a whole lie, brother.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a half truth.
I don't
when
drink,
I told him that,
I
I
don't
did.
drink,
one.
I don't
I
drink
did
energy
quit
drinks,
drinking energy
but I
drinks.
meant I don't drink energy drinks with sugar.
Yeah.
No, that's now. When I told him that,
Yeah.
I'd quit him because, like,
Your
oh,
life has definitely become a
my heart was doing funny
Now you
stuff or
relapsed.
something. Yeah,
Your
it's a
life is-
relapse. It's okay.
Your life has definitely
had a
become
lapse.
unmanageable without energy drinks.
No,
You have a problem.
maybe.
You're lying to your buddies. You're lying to your people about it. You got a problem.
So if I find you a nice Christian girl your age ish, you're gonna be ready for marriage? Is that what you're saying?
It just depends, man. Depends. Again, you know, I do like. I am.
Because I'm a matchmaker.
Dude, I like-
find-
I
Do
like-
it, Dan.
Dude, I like fitness. I like going to the gym. I like to spend a lot of time. I would like to find somebody that is yoked with me that likes the same things I do. I don't want to meet a girl that doesn't like ever want to go like work out or exercise, and I want to go to the gym and she's like, "No, you can't go there because there's girls." I don't want to deal with none of that. I don't want to deal with that. I'm 47 years old. I am committed to taking care of myself, and I'm committed to health and fitness for the rest of my life. My son's 21, and I don't have a grandkid yet.
How old's your mustache?
Like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could part with it if you needed to, though, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if some nice Christian girl said that ain't happening, that mustache ain't going with them.
Well, you know, we'll see.
Is it a deal breaker?
No.
Okay.
What if
Hey.
she says you can keep your mustache, but you got to get rid of your switchblade comb?
I could do that.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I'm ready. But you know what I mean? It just depends. I'm not going to say I would say no. Dinner's dinner. Hey, we can go out for dinner. I'm willing to take anyone out for dinner. I mean, have a casual conversation. I can tell a lot for somebody. We're just having a casual conversation.
What if you get some roll stuck in your mustache?
It's
first
okay.
night?
That's not my problem. That's hers. She's got to look at me.
Yeah.
I think we should do that married at first sight thing with Rocky.
Yeah.
No, dude, it ain't
Put
happening.
this on. Listen,
I don't even know
what if we arranged
I-
a marriage for you?
We're gonna
I-
yes.
and you made it work out.
I don't even know. As long as I'm not giving no one's dad 5 goats or no acres of land. I don't even own any myself. Like no, legitimately. Like I've been thinking about this. You know, I've been wanting a wife, but you know what I mean. I got to think about am I prepared to be a husband? You know what I mean? Like
I
now,
wasn't.
but I know that. But
For
I'm
real.
talking about me and my like. This is where my mind's at. Like I am invested in like building a future for myself that I could you know, like I'm just now like starting a career. I just started this career, and I'm making a lot of money like doing so I can like get my own little thing going. You know what I mean? And that way, if I come across it, then I'll have something to share with somebody. I don't know. I feel like I don't really, at this point in life, I'm just beginning to get something established in a way of like, you know, how could I be a husband or like a provider or take care of somebody? You know what I mean? Like I really like at this point in my life, how could I do that? I would have to have a woman that would be like willing to travel to come see me, or like, you know what I mean, or like be willing to allow me to go out on the road for long periods of time, you know what I mean, without me being home, like, and it could be like a month, or you know what I mean. This would have to be like something that I would have to discuss. I can't say that I would marry the first woman that come along, but we would have to come to some type of understanding, you know what I mean. I can't just sit there and say, well, yeah, you know, I'm gonna, you know what I mean.
I didn't live with
I
my
know you
wife
can't,
for
you
like
know what I mean?
6 months.
No, you're
when
getting
we first got married.
You're getting too old. I can't take the chance of you getting hurt. You know, you can't ride your dirt bike no more. Can't do it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah, you're too picky. I'm not looking for him.
Yeah, he's
No.
really picky.
No, or is it the fact that, you know what I mean? Like, no, but yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't. There's no deal breakers. It just depends. It would depend. It would depend upon how our relationship would grow.
I think that
I'm just not going to give up everything
I
for
think
somebody that I don't even know.
two sincere believers who are of goodwill could make any marriage work.
Yeah.
If a woman decides I'm going to be a good godly wife, and a man decides I'm going to be a good godly man, and treat each other with love, then I think the feelings and devotion develop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've done some ridiculous things for love. Stupid. ridiculous. I'm not going to say I wouldn't stop anything, but you know what I mean? Like, it would just depend. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I would give up everything I got going on in my life for a woman, because I'd be lying to you. Now, if I was if, you know what I mean? Like, through the process of us getting to know one another, you know what I mean? And like, if things were really working well, then I would like definitely adjust and move things around in my life. I would give a little bit more and give myself a little bit less, depending upon, you know, that would be, you know, that would just be like the compromise thing. You know what I mean? That would be the commitment to like one another kind of thing. That would come. I can't sit there and say that I'm going to like stop everything. You know, that's hard questions. That's a hard question, bud.
I'm just saying you're getting older, so you ain't got time. You got a lot of time to kick the can down the road. You just gotta find that lady and say it's on.
Oh yeah.
We'll get married, and I'll learn your middle name down the road somewhere.
Facts.
Does she like fishing? You know what I mean?
I
Just
hope not.
marry her and find out.
He said, "I hope not."
I don't like fishing.
You don't want to. You don't marry some dirty-handed fishing girl, right? You mean a? That's made your audience mad, didn't it?
Been a little judgmental there, Dan.
I'm teasing.
Hold on, I got one.
He didn't say that. Dirty-handed fishing girl.
I don't know. I like my wife's hands nice and clean.
Yeah,
I don't want them
she's got-
smelling like bait and worms.
Yeah,
and,
got dirt underneath her fingernails,
Yeah, I
making
need
you
that.
hair. You ain't baby want a sandwich? Eating out of the bag
Andrea
of chips.
said, maybe Rocky is just living for the first time and enjoying it. However, Rocky, you're not getting any younger, bro.
It's all right. I'm in better shape now than I've ever been. I am like more active now than I've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm more confident in myself. I feel better about myself than I ever have at 47 years old.
If I was shopping for a woman, I'd probably work out
Dude.
too, but I don't need to. No.
I don't. I'm not.
Right.
The fact of the matter,
Exactly.
I'm not. I've been working out. Like I get on Chris all the time about working out. You know,
I'm married.
you had a heart attack, and I tell him all the time. I'm like, dude, like you're 40-some years old. You just had a baby.
Yeah.
You better get it. You better get in shape. I'm not. If sexy comes with healthy, so be it. I'm trying to be healthy.
You can't help it that your healthy's leading to sexy, right?
I can't. But I'm just trying to be healthy. You know what I mean?
800 likes deep into it.
But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be healthy. I'm working on my self-love and self-care. You know what I mean? I want to feel good about myself.
Amen.
You know what I mean? I've lived a life where I really didn't care whether I lived or died. I lived that way for a lot of years of my life, at least 10 years of my life. In my 30s, I really didn't care whether I lived or died. You know what I mean? I'm finally, like, when Christ like took a hold of my heart, and everyone's like, you know, all these things, like, did this, you know, what Christ did for me. Christ like grabbed a hold of my heart, and he gave me a desire to want to change. Like I'm encouraged to change. I'm encouraged to like love myself. I'm encouraged to love other people. I'm encouraged to do all these things. So it's like motivates me. I finally believe in myself for once in my life. You know what I mean? Like that's what Christ has done for me. And all these things, this good job, the hard work that I put in, all these things are a direct result of that, of the spiritual like happening that's you know what I mean? And in my life that like, I don't know, one day I just started to like give it doggone. You know what I mean? There it goes. See,
Yeah.
I caught that, dude.
You caught it.
Dude,
that means you can catch it.
You didn't have to beep him or anything.
Nope.
But you know what I mean?
I was
Like
about to go lay hands on him, right?
Yeah.
I heard it
but
coming.
you know
I
what I
was
mean?
like,
At some point in time, I just really started to care about my life and like in like how I treated other people, and I really can't explain it. But when that happened, I really just started to generally like I was really motivated to change. And I
Yeah.
mean, when I change, I'm talking about change me, change the way like I started to begin to see other people. Like I'm not gonna say no names, but a few years ago, I started hanging around this girl, and she was a lot younger than me, but I never really had no like fascination with her like sexually. I was just trying to I was like she was kind of like a thing where I was trying to like just get used to being around a female. You know what I mean? And not looking at her like that way. You know what I mean? We was hanging out, we went to the movies, I'd take her to dinner once in a while, but I was not directly trying. I was just trying to like look at a female other than like a sexual object. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to do that. There's been some in my past where I've been friends with them. You know what I mean? But then there's been most of them. It's like, you know what I mean? I've always had that like behind, you know, I mean, I've always had that, like, you know, I mean, like I would, like I can't do the woman with men friend things. Like I have a thing with that. You know,
Yeah.
like women, like I got a bunch of guy friends that we go hang out with and all that. And like,
Yeah, that's very dangerous to have.
Yeah.
you know,
To say that, well, this is my husband over here, but my best friend is this Fred guy over
Yeah.
here, and I tell him all my secrets and
Right.
share my private stuff.
I'm
and
too
that's-
drunk to
that's
drive.
very-
I'm gonna stay at Fred. No, you're
yeah,
not.
that's-
No, you don't. I'm
Hold
coming.
up.
Hold up. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm going to, you know what I mean? I knew this guy whose wife was going to a concert with one of her guy friends, and like they were supposed to stay all night in a motel down in Indianapolis. I'm like, are you serious? No, you are not. No, I mean, dude, it ain't happening. I don't even know why that. It's like, I don't want to date somebody that those bad boundaries. Not even that boundary is a questionable thing. If that's a questionable boundary in your mind, I want nothing to do with
Right.
you. You are reckless. I believe that. If those boundaries are not like a part of your character, if you know what I mean, like I don't want nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Like seriously, I just wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it. You know, and I wouldn't know that immediately. Meeting somebody and marrying somebody, I wouldn't know that immediately. Now I'm married to somebody, and I'm married for. No, I'm thinking way too deep.
Now you're
into it.
just making excuses.
But I'm not, dude. I want to get married. Trust me. But I'm done dealing with trauma and drama through relationships. I am over it, dude. Like seriously,
Trauma and drama.
I'm scared to death of it. This last one, like
Gotcha.
it did something to me, bud. Like I'm like scared to death of it.
Yeah.
But as a result of that, like I'm doing the best I ever done in my life. Physically,
Yeah,
financially.
it's actually really it's good that you had a chance to be busy with work, busy with working out, because then you're not. If you're not busy and you're tempted, then it's easier to run into your temptation. If you're
Mhm.
very busy, sometimes you don't even have time to think about your temptations.
Yeah. But it's a hard place to be in. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm finding it. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at like being by myself. You know what I mean? I'm really focused on me, and I'm really focused on like my self-care. I'm really focused on my health. I'm really focused on doing things for me. I'm really focused on like, you know, my son. Like I'm in a place to where like I can really support my son financially, and him being in college. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
to like goad about it, but while he was in Italy, I was giving him like $200 a week as like just for him to spend while he was over there, which was like, you know what I mean? That's amazing. I was like giving him a weekly paycheck, you know, just for him to enjoy Italy, dude. And I was like, it was like awesome to be able to do that. You
Yeah.
know, it was awesome to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Like I could take care of my own kid for once.
Yeah.
You know? I've been taking care of other people's kids my whole life pretty much and neglecting my own, but now I finally get to focus on mine. You know, and that's it's something like, you know, that's a part of my, you know, my mentality too, you know, thinking about this thing. I way overthink everything, and that's like I'm really overthinking it. But there will be one, the right one will get me to do whatever we're meant to do.
Yeah.
I promise you. So,
Do I get to do the wedding?
bud, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care.
His is
Care.
working.
I might have Elvis marry us, bud.
His is working
We-
really good.
Mine's working
We
good.
might,
I set him up.
It ain't all like peaches and rainbows, but
I got enough money, but I can meet one
good.
tonight, and we can fly to Vegas, and I can be hitched by Monday.
you could get married quick. It can happen quick,
You know,
bud.
Elvis marry us, bud. You know,
It can happen really quick.
now I'm being stupid about it, but yeah, that's like what I deal with right now in my life, and that's the hardest struggle I got going on right now in my life.
There's a nursing home close to me.
That's all right, man. Yeah.
He looked at the blue button. I seen him look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. But
We are at 1 hour, 3 minutes, 36 seconds.
yeah, what are you struggling with, Chris?
Time. Not having enough, doing too much.
You're definitely not struggling with sloth.
No.
You're fulfilling every bit of potential.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. I have a full-time job. I have a full-time demanding job. I'm a full-time college student. I'm a full-time father. I'm a full-time husband. I work part-time at the Harmony Home, and I am the production crew for Walking Free Podcast. That's a lot, bro. And that's just like if I did nothing else. And I do other stuff.
Yeah.
But so I struggle with listening to the old Be Still. I struggle with slowing down. But I'm getting better at it. I let off of the whole speaker meeting, let off the whole graduation. I just kind of retreated up here to my little, but I always have something. There's always something. So, but tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I have a hotel rented in Fort Wayne. We have somebody to watch the kids. The Remnant girls are watching the kids. Dan's mad. Dan is mad right now.
Oh
Do
boy!
they got a jungle gym in their house?
Why don't you just have the
Listen.
Remnant girls go over to Dan's?
Yeah, we might as well.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll take care of them too. Do they like ramen noodle soup?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They've all been to jail.
But you know, like that's a thing, and I always think about this too. You know, there's being somebody who's like a willing vessel involved in recovery. Like, dude, like being that type of person, like you, a people pleaser, and you always want to make people happy, and you always want to be that guy. It's very taxing. Like anyone that's willing to do something, anyone that's willing to say yes, the yes man.
Yeah.
Yes, he always says yeah. When I need something to do something. Like early in recovery, I think I got way too involved in things like Celebrate Recovery. There's a lot of different things that I got way too involved in way too early.
Bro, you
in my
got me
recovery.
involved in all that stuff too.
Because I was in it. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I got way too involved in a lot of things in recovery way too soon because there's like a lack of people that are willing to like do things. You know what I mean? Like we've experienced it trying to get people in the speaker meeting.
3
Like,
years.
everybody wants to get a microphone in their hand. I'm like, dude, I've been making coffee for 5 years now or 3 years now.
Yep.
And I come in here every day and make coffee.
Yep.
I don't even want the microphone. You know what I mean? I don't even like it anymore. There was a time where I liked it and entertained it. Like
You loved it.
I've been trying to give it away for a long time. I'm sick of it. You know what I mean? this was mine. I was focused.
what
I
you
wanted
wanted.
this.
Yeah.
This is what I was like. God was putting me on this.
Yeah.
Like I'm like Chris, we have to find somebody to take this. You know what I mean? But then when I leave and everything's going, it's like, and I'm glad. It's like it was a very humbling thing because it was never. It proves to me that it was never me in the first place. God has always been in control.
Let's go.
And you know what I'm saying? Like this wasn't something like he maybe have used me and you and us to like grow this for a season.
Yeah.
But now, you know what I mean? It's kind of like we talked about it before, like the Joshua syndrome. Now we've built people up. We've helped people. People have helped us. And now they're taking it over so we can move on and do different things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But it was very humbling, like we was talking about earlier, about having to leave everything behind. You know, I struggle with it. I'm used to being important.
Why is my wife telling you sorry? Probably about the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says sorry, Daniel, first.
Now, what are you struggling with, Dan? Are you angry? Are you
Struggling.
resentful?
I got some struggles with resentment and bitterness against a couple people for some financial reasons. I struggle with some feelings of failure, having a couple businesses go awry. I lost a bunch during COVID, and it makes you feel like unstable, starting over. Starting kind of from nothing. I'd had quite a bit at one point in my life and lost it all. In about the span of about 1 year. So my whole life, everything I'd made, disappeared basically in just a few months. So that was a painful and taxing thing. And but again, God kind of used that situation, those situations, because there's a few different things that happened to get me where I'm at right now. And if those businesses wouldn't have kind of went awry, I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing right now that I really feel like I'm in the middle of God's will on.
Amen.
Amen.
So he took away some things that I thought I really loved and gave me some things that I really, really love. So, yeah.
Yeah.
of the things I'm really excited about though is you mentioned doing music a little bit, man. I've been doing these things at our church for like 8 months now called
Man,
Psalms,
they're
hymns,
good.
spiritual songs. And it's a night where we bring in like some regional Christian singer and songwriters to do originals. We don't let them come in and do a bunch of cover songs or
Yeah.
things like that. They come in and have to do their own stuff. And the first 2 months I did it, I had the same 3 people do it because I didn't know anybody. And then every month now,
Yeah.
I'm finding some new people. And so I'm really excited about the guy that's coming on the 24th named Kevin Schlereth. So I was in Illinois last July to talk about my book at a church. And so me and my son decided to go to a Christian music festival while we was there. And the first guy we saw when we sat down was this dude we'd never really heard from before. But first of all, we walked in the festival, we see a bunch of people all dressed the same. And they're dressed weird. They got like Ned Flanders mustaches and like
Is that
red
why you got a
baseball
problem with my
hats.
mustache?
Your mustache is like half the size of these guys. They're like the walrus mustaches, and they had like old Nikes on and like cut off sweat shorts. I mean, this was like a uniform. They all look like suburban dads from like 1982 or something. It's
Yeah.
just weird. And so then this musician comes out, and that's how he's dressed. I was like, oh, so he's like a little cult, but his stuff was really good. So he starts off, first of all, he starts singing a song about bees. I'm like, oh man, here we go. I was like,
Bees
I
in the
thought-
trap.
I was
The
like,
bees in
I
the
was like, I
trap.
thought this was a Christian deal, and it's some kind of hippie deal or something. But like, it was actually a song about like a really cool parable about serving and things like that. And it was really genius. And I really started loving his stuff. And I was like, man, I would love to book this guy for something. And I get on his website, and he travels constantly. He's just all over. He's actually doing a European tour. He travels like every week. And so I was like, well, I'm sure I can't even afford this guy, and I'm not even going to bother him. And then like 3 months ago, he messages me on Facebook. He said, hey man, I heard about your songwriter night. Could I come down and play it sometime?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I would love that more than anything.
Yeah.
I said, but here's the thing, man. I was like, I know you do this for a living, and I don't have a budget for this. Our guys come in and play for free. They get tips. They can sell merchandise. And I was like, so I just don't have anything to offer to you. And he said, I feel like if I come down, God will take care of me.
Boom.
And so I've
Amen.
got this guy that I was wanting to book that I never met before.
Salivating over him.
Really love his stuff. Really think he's unique. Travels everywhere. And he calls up and says, yeah, I'll play for free in Markle, Indiana.
Boom.
Amen.
Yeah. And then the girl that's opened it up for him, who's just amazing. Her name's Anna Owens.
That's the girl from Indianapolis.
just amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, she's
She
good.
she was the same way with the first time she came up. She emails us and said, hey, can I come up and play at your guys' songwriter? And I don't even know how the word got out there.
She's like an Amy Grant, Cranberries kind of. She's
she rocks
that's
it,
a lot
man.
of big names,
She
but
rocks
she's phenomenal.
When is this?
This is
Oh,
Oh, look, you go prepared.
the February 24th.
Can you see it on there?
I don't know. I can see it from the back.
come this way just a little bit.
Forward,
Kind of
left,
move.
this way.
Yep,
There
right
you
there.
go. Yeah. So
Is it on
this
a website?
This is going to be a really good one. There's no website for it, but it's on my Facebook page. So, and
Who's that top
so
guy?
I booked. So here's what I did too, because I'm kind of a little fanboy. I booked myself for this show too.
I see what you did there,
Because I
bud.
wanted to put it on my resume that I played with Anna Owens and Kevin Schlereth. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
But we can put some information up on
Yeah, I can-
on the website.
Yeah, you guys need to have like a
Facebook.
Harmony Home and speakers meeting field trip that night, because it's going to be really, really good. This is going to be a really good one. So make sure you get in your vehicle and you fill up your vehicle and you come out there that night, because you won't be sorry. And it's free. You just got to, if you can give
Yeah.
a tip at the end of it.
It's really good. That Anna Owens dude is good.
Yeah.
She's really good. She's
She's
weird.
she's a killer.
Yeah, her voice is
She
phenomenal.
raps too.
Yeah,
She
She's
does,
a
she
rapper?
does like folk hippie rap
Yeah.
stuff on the guitar. It's pretty amazing. And
she's good.
And her stuff is like, she was like a 19 or 20-year-old girl. I think she was 19 the first time she came. But her stuff is deep and mature and thought-provoking. It doesn't sound like a teeny bop girl
Right.
song. I mean, it was challenging and really hard-hitting stuff.
I'm trying
So
to think of that
she's-
one song. I can't even remember it, dude. She had that one song. Oh goodness.
She's got some good stuff.
Yes.
And so does he. They're, both of them are just got a lot of really unique
Yeah,
stuff. Like
there was-
like when I listen to Kevin's stuff, I don't ever listen to stuff and think, well, he's just a knockoff of this guy. A lot of people are just knockoffs.
Right.
You know, they try to go out and be like Brandon Lake Jr. or something like that, or just figure out how to do some diet version of what's on the radio. And
Right.
no, I mean, I really have enjoyed hearing some really interesting and unique music coming that they're not
That's
out there just trying
awesome.
to copy people. They're out there doing their own thing and telling their own stories, and it's been really powerful. So
It is.
I'm
That's
super
awesome,
excited
bro.
about that. So pack up your vans and
Pack up the vans and go.
pack up
And
the
they
vans.
coffee. There was some coffee shop or something there last
Yeah,
time.
I don't know if the girl is gonna the girl that owns Honey Bean Coffee. It's like a mobile coffee shop. I think she's gonna be tied up that night, so we'll probably be serving some regular coffee, but it'll be free that way. So
Yeah.
because she sets up a whole stand and makes up some fancy drinks and
And
stuff.
there was some desserts and all kinds of stuff there last time I went.
Yeah, we've always got people making stuff.
I
Man,
know.
that reminds me of something.
Temptation.
Going back to
Like
the jail, and just how people, you know, I mean, the things that God does. So you know Joy Bow, right? So
She just sent me a Facebook
So
request.
she's okay. So she's been making cookies for me to take down to the jail, and so she made individual bags of cookies for the inmates, so they would all have their own. And she on the outside she put a sticker that said "God loves you and I love you too" or something like that, maybe a scripture. And there was one of the guys, and you could just tell nobody's ever given him anything,
Right.
and he just sit and stared at it like it was a diamond the size of a fist. And he said, "I don't think I can open these."
Wow.
Because he is just like, it meant so much to him. He's like this note that says somebody loved him, some strangers baking cookies for a convict. You know, who knows what he's maybe he might even hurt her family at some point. Who knows? But some stranger made him cookies, put a nice note on there, and he said, "I don't even think I can open this." And I said, "Well, why don't you open it up and eat the cookies and just save the note somewhere else? Like you can still have it." But
That's
man,
awesome.
That was a pretty powerful moment just to see how some things. I mean, just a small act of kindness can mean a lot to somebody who
Yeah,
doesn't have
definitely.
anything.
For sure.
Who's never known really any kind of love or care, or compassion. If you start giving them a little bit, it means the world to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
That's why, like, I try to do everything I can anytime I can because, you know, like, I was just, like, I had a bag when I come to the Harmony home like 5 years ago, almost 4.5 years ago. I had a bag of like moldy clothes. That's it. Everything I had owned was stolen when I went to jail. Everything I had nothing. Like I come off the dirt. You know what I mean? I come off of nothing. And like everything that I've gotten to this point, even my job was, I have opportunities, things people have been helping me, help. We just help each other. And I think it's kind of like, you know, when God gives you blessings in life, you know what I mean? Like you pass them on, you share them with other people. And I think it's important. And it'd be, you know, for people to do that. And that's to whatever size you can, if it's baking cookies or if it's money or if it's whatever it is, your time, a ride, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, you know, to like share that with people if you're available to. Means a big deal. Big deal.
Yeah. We are at 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 30 seconds.
We did 1 hour and 20 before,
Is
didn't
that
we?
over?
It's pretty much over.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
You got any final things you want to talk about or say?
I feel like Rocky ought to do a whole beard if he's going to do that mustache, honestly.
Dude,
But,
I agree.
can't, dude. I got a spot right
agree.
here that don't grow. I got on both sides of my
but you've
face.
got your switchblade comb. You could just comb it up.
Legit, bro.
Like you could do a comb
Like
over
a
on
comb
your
up,
cheek. Yeah.
like a comb up.
I've been
yeah.
up since 5 o'clock this morning. I'm not in the mood to deal with this.
You knew we was going to get into something with Dan
I
here,
don't
right?
even- man, I don't
You
even
knew
wanna deal
that.
with this.
All right, are we ready for the music? It's not good music. Dan, write me
Play it.
something.
Play it out.
We're going.
Mm.
I can't help but it's what I do. Go, Dan. Hey. Later.